Shalom, Yasharallah. It's your brother Dawud Da from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Waha Rakah, Kadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can push this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. All right, I want to get into this here quick little lesson, dealing with basically Esau going, not necessarily, he's also going to catch the biggest L of his life, but it's going to be the biggest I told you so moment, you know? Not only for Esau, but the rest of these nations, the scoffers, and these heathen, all right? And so we're going to read here in the Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, and it's pretty much going to give you their reaction, all right? The reaction to everybody else when they see these things come to pass. All right, with that, we're going to start in the Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. It says, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as has afflicted him and made no account for his labor." All right, and that's, we pair that with the scripture that says, "Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty." All right, Esau is that possessor who slay us and hold themselves not guilty. All right, and it also says, and made no account of his labor. All right, but that's speaking about us right now. You know, we're on the highways and the byways. When we go on the highways and the byways and these videos up, you know, we stand boldly on the corners of the streets, you know, telling Esau he going into slavery, or telling the so-called white man that he's the Edomites according to the Bible, and that there's no place of repentance found for him. He going into slavery for 1,000 years and he getting exterminated. All right, you know, we go on the highways and the byways boldly with that. You know, and the people come up, try to fight us, try to kill us, try to give us threats and all kind of stuff like that. You know, they call the cops on us. The cops come up there, then the cops try to threaten and push us around and stuff like that. But we stand boldly. You know, we stand in faith on these words. You know, Most High said he got a hedge around us. You know, and there's nothing that you can do against his prophets. They're not gonna be pushed into a corner no more. All right. And so we stand boldly out on the highways and the byways, you know, and we chant down this Babylon, you know. But nevertheless, reading again, it says, Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as afflicted him and made no account of his labor. When they see it," okay. Now this is talking about Esau and the other nations, all right. Mainly Esau. It says, "When they see it, they shall be troubled with fear, and shall be amazed with this." Let me go back. "And when they see it, they shall be troubled with fear." Okay. Now the first stage of it is, you know, them seeing us on the highways and the byways, boldly, you know, telling them to their face what's going to happen. All right. Not too long ago, you know, here in America, you couldn't, a so-called black man couldn't look a so-called white man in his eyes. He had to look down when he walked past him. You know. Not only that, you know, certain things you know, at certain times you wouldn't dare say certain things. Hey, you so-called white man, you going into slavery. You know, you was to say that, you know, not too long ago, you know, your ass would be dead somewhere in the trunk or something like that, you know. They hit you with a goddamn Sandra Bland or Emmett Till type move, you know. But nowadays, you know, Esau has to just sit there and take his L, you know. He just got to sit there and just take it. There's nothing really he could do about it, you know. He's starting to get reprimanded for certain things, you know. And you know, you see on the highways and the byways sometimes we'll be out there and letting Esau know what his judgment is, and these Edomites, you know, they get all in their feelings and they want to go call the police or do whatever, whatnot. Then the police come over and tell them they got to go. You know, they're like, wait a minute, you supposed to be on my side, but now the tables is turning, you know. It says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with fear. You know, they starting to see these things like, how are these people starting to get power? We used to have them in subjection. Now they starting to raise up, how they find out who they was, and so on and so forth, all these things. But not only that, you know, because this is dealing with our salvation. So at this point in time, they're going to start seeing all kind of stuff, right? They're going to see these chariots, all right? And we're about to start reading into when we get basically salvation. You know, like scriptures say, come up hither. You know, at that point in time when they see these chariots, you know, it says, "Then shall the son of the son, the coming of the Son of Man shall be seen, and all nations mourn." You know, and nations are going to mourn for the signs of the things coming on the earth. You know. At that point in time, roughly paraphrasing all that, but, you know, at that point in time when these chariots start rolling back around, or start rolling around, you know, then this is that point in time. Not only that, like I said, when they say come up hither, okay, it says, "When they see it, they shall be troubled with fear." Damn, they're going to, first of all, damn, Jake waking up knowing who they are and talking about they're going to put us in slavery. Talking about UFOs is coming to save them. Damn, now we starting to see more and more UFOs. Now that, you know, the news, America used to always cover that up and you know, always tell you that wasn't there and so on and so forth. But now all of a sudden they telling you that it is real, you know. And now they building up space programs to combat it, you know. And they telling you that in the open, you know. But nevertheless, it says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they look for. Why are they going to be like that? Why are they going to be in that mood? You know, first of all, when they see these chariots, they're going to mourn and be afraid. You know, they was afraid, but they durst fight, you know. They was afraid, they was scared, you know, but they still got it cracking, you know. Yahweh shall put that spirit on them to keep fighting and you know, try to push on and stuff like that. So, you know, that's going to be the spirit that they being put in. But, you know, so like, give me 1 second. Yeah, because somebody had done just walked up. All right, going back into this, yeah, when they see these chariots, you know, they're going to be bugging out because they're going to be like, what the hell, aliens coming back and this and that. Then they're going to get onto, how do you say, the warfare. You know, they're going to be going at each other, you know, going back and forth at each other, you know, like the scriptures say, Michael and his angels fought, and the devil and his angels fought, and there was no more place in heaven found, you know, at that point in time, you know. They're going to see this, they're going to be troubled and afraid, but then when they start seeing the elect getting beamed up, they're going to be like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? First of all, we thought this was some aliens and shit, and the aliens coming back and they trying to fight us and this and that, and it's an Independence Day type of move, you know. Think back to Independence Day, they're up on that roof, and they're like, oh, the aliens, this and that, and then the aliens start fucking them up, you know, and then they got all scared. Now just imagine at that same point in time, or like the movie The War of the Worlds, where, you know, those chariots came down and was zapping people, then some people was getting sucked up into the things, you know. And so people looking around like, what the hell? You know, and then they're going to remember us from being on the highways and the byways, and they're like, damn, they're getting sucked up into these UFOs and what's going on, you know. And at the point in time when everything is revealed unto them that it's the Most High that's bringing judgment on everybody, and the chariots is the chariots of Israel, you know. And that's the salvation mode. They're going to be like, what the fuck? You know, these niggas? You know, and we're going to get into that. Let me keep reading. This is verse 2 again. It says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they look for. Yeah, because they expecting the heavens to open up and a so-called stringy, long-haired white boy to come out the sky on a white horse and say, you know, with flowers and shit and be saving the whole world. That's what they expected. But when the clouds crack open and you see these UFOs come down, and then you see, you know, so-called giant black men come up out of there, putting the Edomites into subjection and rounding up the children of Israel, who was so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they're going to be like, what the fuck is going on? Why are these so-called UFOs coming down, and they fighting at all the so-called white people? They killing all of them off, but then they scooping up all the so-called blacks, natives, and Latinos. You know, they're going to be bugging the fuck out, you know? It says, verse 3, and they repented and groaned for anguish of spirit, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves. Okay, they're going to be troubled. They're like, man, what the fuck is this going on? Like, man, god damn, like, hold up. It's got to scratch my head. We over here fighting these goddamn aliens. The aliens look like they fucking us up. You know, they look like they don't like human beings, but all of a sudden, they're over here taking these so-called dark-skinned motherfuckers, the niggas, the spicks, the ones we over here trying to build a wall to keep them out, and these goddamn UFOs is sucking them up. But we got to go over here fight them, and they not trying to kill them. They just scooping them up and killing us. They're going to be bugging the fuck out, you know? It says, and repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall they say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach? This nigga? Wait a minute, why these UFOs is picking up only niggas and spicks? Wait a minute. Man, no, not these niggas. Y'all niggas need to be back in the fields and picking my goddamn tomatoes and shit and mowing my lawn and shit like that. Y'all niggas need to get back to the field. Y'all ain't important enough to be over here investigating these UFOs and shit. Y'all niggas need to get back to the field. But then wait a minute. Why is the UFOs picking niggas up? Why can't we go? You know, they're going to be scratching their head like, we ain't seen, you know, they might see some so-called Edomites, you know, and I say so-called Edomites because, you know, the confusion of face, you know, they're going to start seeing some jakes that look like Edomites getting taken up, but then there's going to be a lot more of, you know, actual looking jakes, and they're going to be bugging the fuck out because they're not going to understand what's going on. All right. Down in 4 it says, we fools, okay, like the scriptures say, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. All right. This is that I told you so moment. This is the biggest I told you so moment in history. Esau gonna wake the fuck up and realize, wait a minute. Like, wait, whoa. The Big Bang Theory, scratch that. Atheism, scratch that. No God, scratch that. God is here, okay? And these niggas ain't niggas. And we ain't the real Jews. They the real children of Israel because they don't want to get in salvation and we fucking them up. And now all of a sudden, oh, fuck, man, we done fucked up the wrong people. We ain't God's chosen people. We ain't holy. We actually the devil. All right, this is the time. This is what they're going to be, you know, they're gonna start realizing this, all right? It says, we fools, like I said, the fool said in his heart, there is no God. I told you so moment, all right? It says, we fools accounted his life madness and his end without honor. Yeah, that's just some stupid-ass nigga. Oh, just another nigga shot down. Shoot that nigga. Kill that nigga. You know? Oh, I thought the nigga was reaching for a gun. Oh, the nigga had some Skittles and the iced tea in his hand. So, I mean, I was scared the nigga might have tried to choke me out with the damn Skittles. So I shot this nigga. You know? I didn't know this nigga lived in such a nice neighborhood like this. I thought the nigga was stealing something, so I shot his ass, you know? They're gonna be like, wait a minute. Them ain't niggas. They're gonna be remembering all this shit that they done did, and it's gonna be hitting them. They're like, oh, fuck, man, this is the biggest, whoa, we fucked up. You know you fucked up, right? That's gonna be the moment that is reeling in their mind, all right? All right, verse 5, it says, how is he numbered among the children of God, and his lot among the saints? You know, they're like, wait a minute. What about, saint whoever, saint this, saint that, all these saints, they done made saints and all these motherfuckers. They're like, wait a minute. How come we don't see none of our the Pope and them? How come the Pope ain't getting taken up there with the Lord? You know? But they only getting these niggas over here. You got my goddamn gardener out the backyard. How he got scooped the fuck up? This nigga's supposed to be over there pruning my shit. And he gets sucked up, but the Pope don't get sucked up? What the fuck is going on over here, you know? They're gonna be bugging out. They mind is they fools, you know? This is the biggest I told you so, like, damn. I told you, bitches. You know, it's going to be one of those moments. It says, how is he numbered among the children of God? They scratching their head. We the real Jews, man. We over in Israel, we got brought back in 1948. The prophecy was fulfilled. You know, every nation is trying to help us out and bless us and give us money. And you see how we dominating all these other countries and the Arabs and shit. Yeah, we the children of God. But then, you know, who y'all, you know, the Messiah come back and he ain't dealing with y'all. He fucking y'all. Well, he fucking y'all up. And he's saving the niggas, the Spicks, you know, the Uncle Tomahawks, you know. He over there saving them and he fucking us up. They're going to be like, God damn, you know. It says, verse 6, therefore have we erred from the way of truth. Okay. They're going to be realizing like, man, we really fucked up. We've been living a lie the whole time. Like all the shit, they're going to be scratching their head like, damn, they're going to just be like us, you know, the men of the Lord who woke up, you know. There was a point in time when you started first learning this truth. The first thing first, when you got first broken down, you had to realize everything that you've been told your entire life. Every day of your life, you've been lied to about everything, all right? You ain't black. You ain't African-American. You ain't this. You know what I'm saying? You ain't nobody. You ain't a nigga. You know, you had to learn all of that. You know, the so-called white man ain't holier than thou. He ain't the people of the Bible talking about you. So you had to find out at that day that everything you've been told was a lie your whole life, you know? And you know, for me personally, at first, you know, I was real fucked up over that. I was like, God damn, how could everybody I know and everybody's supposed to be loving me lie to me my whole life, you know, whether they knew about it or they didn't know about it, you know? But then at the same time, you know, we was being built back up with this truth and knowledge, so it was all good. But for Esau, he gonna learn that he been lied to his whole life every damn day, and his future is eternal damnation, you know? It says, verse 6, therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness hath not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. So they're going to be like, damn, we wasn't even Christians to begin with. The Lord really wasn't dealing with us. I thought if we believed in whosoever believed in Jesus, John 3:6, I've been chanting this shit since the UFOs came around, and this shit ain't helping. Jesus, 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 Jesus. And none of that shit going to work. They're going to be like, what the fuck? We've been living a lie our whole life. All right? Verse 7. We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. You know, they're going to be like, damn, we've been doing all this thing. We was righteous, but we was actually dealing in wickedness, you know. Yea, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way, but as the way of the Lord have we not known it. Like, yo, we thought we was the Pope, the priest, the saints, this, that, God's people. We thought we was the Jews and the Christians, you know, from the Pope to the goddamn the Jewish people, you know. They thought they was on both sides, so they was like, oh, we covered, we definitely in there. When they realized they ain't have nothing to do with this, you know, only you have I known of all the families of the face of the earth, you know. They gonna understand what these scriptures mean, the things that we was talking about on the highways and the byways. They gonna realize we weren't just some crazy niggas who had the Bible all wrong. They're going to be like, damn, you know, we done went to school and learned hermeneutics, spent X amount of dollars on this and got studied. I've been in the ministry for 35, 40 years. My father was in there. My grandfather was in there. How could I have missed this the whole time? I'm over here, you know, a G-man and all them other motherfuckers. They're going to be like, yo, man, hey, like, they're going to wake up, not to say wake up to everlasting shame, but at this point in time, they're going to, the everlasting shame going to be right there in their face. They're going to see it, you know? Waking up to the everlasting shame pretty much pertains to the 2/3, you know? They're going to wake up and realize that they was over there trying to silence their own brother who was trying to save them. That's shameful. Like, damn, you was trying to help me out the whole time, and you know what I mean? But, verse 8, what hath pride profited us? Okay? The fool, pride go before a fall, you know? It says, what hath, the pride of thy heart has lifted thee up, okay? Obadiah, you know, talking about Esau, okay? What hath pride profited us? Or what good have riches with our vaunting brought us, okay? All this money to gold and conquering the whole earth, what good is all this? It can't save us. We own everything on the planet Earth, but yet at the end it's all going to be taken away and we have no might. The world's greatest military and technology and all this, but at the end of the day is nothing, okay? It's like bringing a goddamn bow and arrow to a fight with drones, missiles, and all kind of shit, you know? Sniper rifles, like before you can goddamn even get your bow cocked and ready, if somebody from 2 miles down then pops your ass. You don't even see him. All right? Verse 9. All those things are passed away like a shadow, and as a post that hasted by. And as a ship that has passed over the waves of the water, which when is gone, the trace cannot be found, neither the pathway of the keel of the waves. Basically saying like all these things is going to be gone away, you know, and you're not going to see it again. Like, I'll read to verse 12. Or like when an arrow is shot at a mark, it parteth the air, which immediately come together again, so that the man cannot know where it went through. So basically, like you shoot an arrow or an airplane is treading through the air, right? It's splitting air around, and the air is moving around the object, whether it be an airplane or an arrow, and you know, it splits. You know, imagine a thick, solid wall, and the airplane flying directly into a solid wall. That wall is going to split. And then the air is going to go all the way around the airplane, you know, and then it's going to come back together, you know, behind it. And you wouldn't be able to see where the plane split through that trail of air. Or like if you have a bathtub and you fill it up with soap, like suds and stuff like that, you know, and you run your hand through it, you can see a path, you know, and it don't quite go back together. But if you could imagine that, like they use it up above where they talk about a boat going through the water and the wake of, you know, the wake splits after the boat. You see that V formation, but then it comes all back together. You know, 10 minutes after a boat passed by, you couldn't even tell a boat passed by. You know, you don't see that wake no more. I'm going to jump down to verse 13. It says, even so we, in like manner, as soon as we were born, began to draw our end and had no sign of virtue to show, but were consumed in our own wickedness. For the hope of the ungodly is like the dust that is blown away with the wind, and like a thin forth that is driven away with the storm, like as the smoke which is dispersed here and there with the tempest and passeth away, as the remembrance of a guest that tarrieth but a day. But the righteous live forevermore. Their reward also is with the Lord, and the care of them is with the Most High. Okay? Let me just keep reading on down. Verse 16. Therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown from the Lord's hand. And with his right hand shall he cover them, and with his arm shall he protect them. Talking about our salvation and the crowns, you know. He shall take to him his jealousy for complete armor, and make the creature his weapon for revenge of his enemies. And that's pertaining to Jeremiah 51 and verse 20. I like starting at verse 19. Jacob is the former of all things, you know. But then verse 20 says, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, and with thee will I break in pieces the nations. All right. So that's what it's talking about here. It says, in verse 16, it says, for with his right hand shall he cover them, and with his arm he shall protect them. He shall take him his jealousy for complete armor, and make his creature his weapon for revenge of his enemies. You know, and in Ezekiel, I believe 25, it says, basically, I'm a judge Esau or Edom with at the hand of my people Israel, more or less, roughly paraphrasing, you know. It says, he shall put on righteousness as a breastplate and a judgment instead, and true judgment instead of a helmet. Okay, put on the whole armor of God. Okay, and see, you know, for those people who don't understand or believe the Apocrypha is part of the Bible, like all these things is basically, this is really nothing new. Okay, this is all, like I said, these are all scriptures that's in the, you know, the regular Old Testament or the New Testament. All right, and it just went through 3 different precepts that was in, like it says, what is that? Ephesians 6. We wrestle not with flesh and blood. You know, put on the whole armor of God. Then also down my battle axe and weapons of war. Okay. Verse 19. He shall take holiness for an invisible shield. He shall his severe wrath shall he sharpen for a sword, and his word shall fight with him against the unwise. Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad from the clouds, as well as a drawn bow, they shall fly to their mark. Talking about the chariots and those dukes. And hailstones full of wrath shall cast as out of a stone bow, and the water of the sea shall raise against them, and the floods shall be cruelly drawn. Yea, a mighty wind shall stand up against them, like a storm shall blow them away. Thus iniquity shall lay waste the whole earth, and ill dealing shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty. Okay, talking about World War III or Armageddon, nuclear warfare, and those chariots coming back. You know, and the end of Esau. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. I want to say, call halal Yahweh, Bah Hashem Yahweh Shah, double honors to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone that taught me this truth and that ruled well. And salutation and much love for you, I can push this truth with sincerity in the 4 corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. Stay strong. Shalom.